for the thick of it all. If they don't give me room, well then I'll give them a wall. I'm gonna smoke my tires when the victory calls. I'm gonna be there, be there. I wanna see my face up on the jumbo screen. Feel the white hot metal of a winning machine. Because you win or you lose and there's no in between. I wanna be there, be there, be there.
NASCAR on speed. Be there.
After the wild Pennzoil Truck Series race at Iowa, we head now to another wild racetrack, a track which last season produced a finish of 0.000 seconds. This is Rockingham for the running of the Oreo 250 under the lights. It should be another wild race here this season as well. Keyshawn Richardson, the 21, has the pole for tonight's race, but 2's outside the 07 of Jonathan Buford. Then third we have Daniel Price, fourth is Danny Bright, second in points, and rounding out the top 5 is Code Luigi. Jake Galloway in 6th, then Max Rossi 7th, Ricky Miller in 8th, 9th is Greg Lee, and rounding out the top 10 with Lawrence Palampon in the 39. The rest of the fielders, Luke Ray in the 29, 2's inside the 30th, Ray Sir, and we have Reese Bennett and Landon Lyons, along with Michael Sanders and Oliver Galloway. Then Jay Jefferson and Trey Rainey, along with Tim Randolph and Mike Burrow. And with Eli Tomlin and Derek Bouchard. Marsha Burrow and points leader Rise Pro to starting mid to back of the field. Be interesting to see if he get down low and get moving forward. Then behind we have Matt Wells, last season's champion, and Roland Cook. Then there's Jack Caneramo and Steven Taylor, along with Blake Petrus and Cynthia Bright. Then there's Matt Hamill and Anthony Hernandez, Francis Dustin and Keith Stevens. And in the final row, we have Danny Lloyd in the 17, 2's outside the 51 of Anton Charlebois. That is our 36 truck field for the running of the Oreo 250 here at Rockingham. Let's go down trackside and get the command to fire the engines up.
Drivers, start your engine!
And the command to fire the 36 trucks up here at the Rock. Under the lights here at Rockingham for the Oreo 250, a race which last season produced a side-by-side dead heat photo finish where a dead tie occurred and Colton Yeo went to victory lane. Will we see that here again tonight? The race one lap shorter, 37 laps this season. We'll see who gets to victory lane after those 37 laps. The pace truck to pit road. Richardson, Buford, front row for the start of the Oreo 250. To the restart zone they come. The 21 truck has stepped on the gas, and we're green flag racing here in Rockingham. Drivers already making moves. Called Luigi from 5th to 1st to lead lap number 1. A 3-wide pass through 3 and 4. Now he tries to protect the bomb through 1 and 2. As Max Rossi is on his bumper, some trucks do get the wall. I believe that is the 21 of Keyshawn Richardson, our pole sitter. Some trucks do get the wall, and a few pole ways they come down the backstretch. And about 3 get clear here. Greg Lee in 4th, and here comes Ricky Miller in the 12th truck up front. As they're 3 wide further back, but the front 4 get away. Here comes Racer in the 30. Daytona winner come back up to the front. Reese Bennett in the 5. Michael Sanders in the 77 coming on the inside along with Trey Rainey. These drivers trying to move their way forward, get clear, get single file to try and run down these front few. Now they get double files, they come down the back stretch. Front few do get single filed out, try to get clear and get away. As they go through 3 and 4, they all move up to the high side. That's where there's more grip, but down the bottom lane, that middle lane, that's where you probably want to be. See how it works for Greg Lee. Went high, then went back down to the middle lane, and it works out. These Pennzoil Truck Series trucks, they're just so great at this racetrack. They have, it just works perfectly for these trucks. As they come down the backstretch, Greg Lee now moving forward as Daniel Price tries to keep 4th from Racer. It looks like he's going to use that high lane run off turn number 2. Now look at Sir down to the bottom lanes at 23, went up the racetrack trying to get a good run. Racer to the middle, and Reese Bennett said, I'm going to go even lower, and that's 3 different lanes working well through 3 and 4 right there. But Reese Bennett's lane is going to be the advantage right there, and here comes Michael Sanders in the 77, also using the bottom lane. He's going to move forward. Trey Rainey as well. Is that Mathis Wells into the outside wall? It is the 2 truck. Hard to the outside wall as they came down the backstretch. And he dropped many positions. But up front now the battle for 5th. Trey Rainey to the inside. Has the 44 behind of Steven Taylor. But Trey going to get that 5th position from Michael Sanders in the 77. So up front, no real contest. It's so far Cole Luigi leading Max Rossi and Greg Lee. But these battles 4th on back, they are pretty intriguing to look at. As we have multiple lanes working side by side everywhere. Looks like Trey Ray's going to keep the 5th position. But here comes Steven Taylor. Don't count him out. He's looking to the bottom lane of the 18 truck, who does go up the racetrack a little bit. Look at him using the middle lane. That takes the 44th advantage away because Steven Taylor tried to go up the racetrack to get that run. And the 18 was there in the dirty air, affected the 44th. Now he's looking to the inside to turn 1. We'll see if he can make that work. Trey with a higher lane. The 44 lower. As they come off the corner and down the back stretch. Some trucks do get up high and towards the wall, maybe even in it. Oh, Mathis Wells again to the outside wall. 2-truck fading back. It might be a little tight now with that damage. But back up to lead. It's all Code Luigi right now leading. But once again, he could be leading now and he could be pulling away to have some fast laps right there. He's running some fast laps. The question is, how are the tires on that truck? He has 30 laps left. That's 30 green flag laps on these tires. Rockingham eats up tires. One of the trucks that have the biggest tire wear on the schedule. So is Code Luigi, is he managing his tires? Is he going now? Or is someone like the 28, the 14, are they managing their tires, trying to get up and just get faster later in the run? We've seen that happen many times here at Rockingham. A truck's fast early in the run, but then towards the middle of the run, someone else is faster, and then the later in the run, even someone else is faster. For 5th, Michael Sanders gets it back as Reese Bennett goes up the racetrack. Now Trey Rain can move to the inside. How about the 25 Keith Stevens? We talked about him. He started what? 33rd? I think he started 33rd. Here's now outside the top 10. He has a shot. And look at there. Greg Lee moves to 2nd. He's going to get by Max Rossi. Now Steven Taylor is coming with a full ass team. They're 3 wide back there for the 5th position. Keith Stevens moves to 5th with a 3-wide move. He's bringing a truck with him and trying to, I think that's the 19 Blake Peters coming forward. So as Max Rossi falls to 4th from 2nd and gets up almost into the wall, back there they're racing 3 wides. Blake Peters comes through to 6th, and Keith Stevens up inside the top 5 from starting at the back of the field. Now Steven Taylor, that truck looks pretty fast, moving to the inside. Greg Lee in the 14. 27 laps of racing to go. They're side by side for a second. That was about the margin of victory last season in this race. I think I saw a truck on pit road. I was trying to tell who that was. It's the 10 truck, as Marshall Burrow has some issues. He's on pit road. He will fall lap down, and he has a ton of damage to that right side. So obviously he's been in the wall a few times. They're going to try and get that repair, get back. He's already 1 lap down. He's possibly going to fall 2nd down. Right there, there's what's happening. 31 going up the racetrack, and the 44 using a lower lane and closes in big time down these straightaways and through the corners. Yeah, Luigi just has to feather it a little bit right there in the 44, getting a big run through the corners and down the straightaways. And right there, look at the time he's gaining off turn 2. 31 of Code Luigi almost into the wall, and Taylor right onto the back bumper now as they go through 3 and 4. I think it's going to be the 44's lead before too long. He's already to the inside of the 31. Side by side to the start-finish line to lead lap number 12. Too close to call. I believe it was Steven Taylor down low that leads. It was. Taylor leads the lap and is going to get clear of Code Luigi through 1 and 2. 44 truck now up front. Luigi back to 2nd and almost into the wall. Keith Stevens still flying forward in the 25, up to 3rd now. And he's flying for sure. He has to get by Code Luigi now. Steven Taylor goes up the track a little bit. Luigi now a little bit lower. But right now a little bit slower. Maybe he's trying to save his stuff now middle of the run to try and have it later on in the run. That will be interesting to see if that works out. Stevens now to the inside through 1 and 2 for the 2nd position and gets beneath the 31 now side by side, dead even with him down the backstretch. Max Rossi from 4th into the wall and loses the time as Trey Ray moves to the inside in the 18 for 4th. It's going to be Trey's position now. He gets to 4th and Keith Stevens clears to get to 2nd. Now he's looking for the 44 of Steven Taylor. Right onto his back bumper. They go 3 trucks and a breakaway right now. Stevens to the inside as they go through 1 and 2. And he's going to try and clear as they come off the corner. He is. Now Keith Stevens clear for the race lead. Side by side for 2nd. Luigi back to the inside. Steven Taylor as they approach turn number 3. And he goes right down to the L line. The 25 went up the racetrack a little bit. 31 going to try to use the lower lane to close in again. And Trey Rain is still under attack. Here comes Blake Peters in the 19 truck coming forward. That's the battle for 4th and 5th. And then back here in 6th, Lawrence Palampon, Matt Hamill coming forward, Anthony Hernandez. These some of the drivers started at the back of the field on the outside. They've worked their way back up the front. Max Rossi again into the walls. They come off turn 2. And slows big time. Sanders gets beneath them. Battle now for a second again. Steven Taylor to the inside of Code Luigi for 2nd. As Blake Peters gets around to get to 4th. And with these 3 battling, that could allow the 19 to close in the draft. And with these guys being side by side, it's going to slow them down. Luigi backs off through 1 and 2, trying to get just in line right now. Doesn't want to get up into the wall. He just wants to keep that truck clean for now. He wants to make it to the end of this race. As they come down the back stretch, off into turn number 3. Now 4 trucks break away because the 19 is caught up to the 3rd place truck of Code Luigi. And Peters is there in the 19 truck. Back here for 5th. Trey Rain has his hands full. Palampon and Hernandez are coming through. 20 laps of racing to go. And for the third position, Blake Petrus all over the back and looking to the inside. Cole Luigi gets that quarter panel to the fender and down Thunder Alley. Petrus going to try and keep it down there. Luigi trying to get clear. And the 31 stays clear for now, but can the 19 drive it off into turn number 3? He tries. It looks like he is a little bit lower than the 31 and gets beneath him. Side by side for the third position. Back here for 5th. Anthony Hernandez moves inside the top 5. The 13 truck coming forward. So these are the drivers that have saved their stuff for later on in the race. Now look up the racetrack, goes to 25. Keith Stevens and Steven Taylor is all over the back. Down the back stretch for the race lead. Steven Taylor all over Keith Stevens as they go through 3 and 4. About half a lane lower is the 44. Gets to the inside down the front straightaway. 18 laps of racing to go to the start-finish line. It's Keith Stevens on the outside. Steven Taylor on the inside. The 44th the advantage as they go through 1 and 2. Steven Taylor clears. Now Keith Stevens trying to get in line in 2nd, but Blake Petrus and the 19 is caught up in the 3rd position. Stevens, now the front 2 slow. The 19 truck coming back. 19 falls off a little bit. Blake Petrus, and now the front 5 have kind of pulled away. They have Jonathan Beeford in 6th, Lawrence Palapon, Trey Rainey, and then Matt Hamill and Michael Sanders bound for 9th and 10th. And then just outside the top 10 is Jake Gowey in 11th and Derek Bouchard in 12th. They're going to try and get caught up here. Trucks up against the walls. They come down the backstretch. For the lead again, Keith Stevens to the bottom of Steven Taylor. Some great racing here at the front in Rockingham. 16 to go this time by. They're still side by side for the lead. Stevens back by Steven Taylor at the start-finish line. And Anthony Hernandez looks for 4th on Cole Luigi back there. The 31 is fading right now. He led early on. And now the 13 to the inside of the 31 as they go through 1 and 2. Luigi back to 5th as Anthony Hernandez grabs 4th. Not quite yet. They're still side by side, but up here it's the battle for the front top spot. Stevens. And they have Taylor and Petrus, 1, 2, 3, trying to get around. As Anthony Hernandez grabs 4th. Cole Luigi back to 5th, and possibly even further as Jonathan Beeford trying to come up to the front. 15 laps of racing to go. Look at Blake Petrus for 2nd. 25 at the track, into the wall. Stevens in the wall. Taylor moves to the inside of the 44. For the race lead, 3 trucks under a blanket. Steven Taylor clears. Now Blake Petrus to the bottom, and the 19 truck a huge run. Side by side, 14 laps to go this time by. Dead even at the stripe again. Petrus and the 19 truck. Gonna try and clear Steven Taylor as they go through 1 and 2. And look at Anthony Hernandez from 4th now to 2nd in 1 corner. Great racing at the front now. Cole Luigi's Cup. Jonathan Beeford is pulled away. 6 trucks here at the front as Blake Petrus leads them. Hernandez going for the 2nd position. Luigi for 4th. But Keith Stevens gets clear of that. 13 laps of racing to go. Now Hernandez, he's going to try and get clear right here and run down Blake Petrus. He's pulled away just a little bit. Stevens for 3rd in the 25 truck. He gets by Steven Taylor. Jake Gowey in the 11 into the wall. The 77, Michael Sanders into the wall. They drop back. Stevens gets to 3rd. He clears Steven Taylor. Cole Luigi going to get to 4th. He clears the 44 as well. Now Jonathan Beeford for a top 5. As they don't battle for the lead for now, we're going to check out a quick update on points leader Riley Spirit, where he's at. Oh my gosh, he's back in 32nd position. He might lose the points lead after this. Danny Bright, he is ahead of him in the 88, trying to look for where that 88 truck is. Currently scored on the outside, but just outside the top 20 currently. So he would gain points. We'll see how Riley Spirit does after this race. Petrus went high, and Hernandez gets by. The 13 truck to lead with 11 laps of racing to go. 6 trucks have pulled away. It's the 13, the 19, the 25, 07, 31, and 44. The top 6 that pulled away. Down the backstretch, Keith Stevens back to try and get to 2nd position. We're coming to only 10 laps of racing to go. That's just over 11 miles. Keith Stevens in the 25, still trying to clear Blake Petrus, who falls back almost 3 wide. But Stevens is cleared down the 2nd position. He has 10 laps to get to Anthony Hernandez and get by him. The 13 truck, though, has pulled away a little bit. Now if the racetrack goes to 13, Stevens lower again. Down the backstretch. Great racing at the front. 7th place, Derek Bouchard watching these front 6 hoping that they all crash in one fell swoop. Now Greg Lee in 8th, Trey Rainey 9th, and for 10th, Francis Dustin, Jake Galloway, Matt Hamill, Anton Charles Boss started in the 36th and final position. Wants to get a top 10 out of this day. Stevens all over the back of the 13th, Anthony Hernandez, who both drive similar line through 1 and 2, 25 a little bit higher. He's going to lose some time there to Hernandez. He went a little bit higher through 1 and 2. Down the backstretch, single file further on back. Cole Luigi 5th, Blake Petrus 6th at the back of this line. Now once again, 25 at the racetrack, way up the track. Steven Taylor to the bottom. It gains onto the front 2. They have 8 laps left at Rockingham. These are the final 8 laps of the Oreo 250 under the lights, and it's produced another classic here in the Pennzoil Truck Series. And now the question is, will we have another finish like last season? The race last season was a classic. This one has had a little bit more action. How will the finish go? Can Anthony Hernandez hold them off without any challenge, or can these drivers inside the top 6 challenge that 13 truck? They are there. They just need the runs to make it work. 7 laps of racing to go now. Hernandez still leads Stevens by about the same margin, but the 25 units about half a lane lower right there, trying to get the runs. They go through 1 and 2 and down the backstretch. Now for 5th, Cole Luigi up the track. Here comes Blake Petrus now to the bottom lane in the 19 truck. As they go through 3 and 4, Luigi drives up the racetrack, but Petrus is down there. 19 truck to 5th. Trying to mount his charge forward here as Luigi falls back to 6th. Now Petrus looking for 4th on Jonathan Buford as they enter turn 1. 6 to go. Petrus coming. He's moving. Has he saved his stuff at the right time? Petrus grabs 4th. Stevens went at the race, Taylor went at the racetrack and fell back. Now it belongs to Anthony Hernandez and Keith Stevens. The battle for the win is in their hands. And Stevens is all over the back of the 13th Anthony Hernandez. 5 to go. A yellow flag would end it here at Rockingham. Hernandez leads. Stevens looking a little bit lower on the back bumper of the 13 truck as they come off the corner. Stevens had to lift a little bit. He got a little tight. And down the backstretch. The 13 pulls away a nice little gap. But the 25 is still there. One little mistake on the 13 like that. He went at the racetrack. 25 a little bit lower again. Stevens is there. He's closing in. But time is running out. He needs to get around Anthony Hernandez in 4 laps. Can he do it? He's been looking lower the last few corners. He does once again and closes back down to the back bumper of the 13 Hernandez down the backstretch. He's looking low in 3 and 4. He's looking to try and make a move. Here he comes to the bottom lane through 3 and 4. That's the place to make it right there. They're side by side. This is coming to 3 laps of racing to go with them being side by side. Can Steven Taylor and Blake Petrus close in? 3 to go side by side for the lead. Keith Stevens out front now in the Oreo 250. Hernandez back to 2nd. Now he keeps out of the wall. Oh, Steven Taylor knocked the wall down off turn number 2. And Petrus can move to 3rd, but that has just altered the outcome now. The front 2 are going to be the ones that have a shot. Hernandez running higher than Keith Stevens. They're coming to 2 laps of racing to go at the Rock. 2 laps left. Over 2 miles. Stevens leads. And look at that protective line he's using. Down on that yellow line. Hernandez using a higher aggressive line, trying to get the run. Stevens once again keeping it down to the bottom lane. It's like he's blocking at a super speedway. Using the bottom lane. Hernandez trying to get the run off the top side. Here they come. Off of 4. White flag for Keith Stevens, the last lap in the Oreo 250. One mistake and it could be Hernandez to steal. Through 1 and 2. Once again, the 25 to the bottom lane, being conservative. Hernandez trying to close in as they come off 2 down the backstretch. The 13. If the 25 goes up the track, this is the 13th to try and make the pass. Through 3 and 4. Stevens does go up the track. Can Hernandez get to the quarter panel? He can, but it's too late. Keith Stevens is going to win the Oreo 250. Wow. Another intense finish. If the 13 was just maybe a truck length closer, entering turn number 3, it could have been a side-by-side finish once again, but it's Keith Stevens winning the race, and he was about a lap away from losing that lead to Anthony Hernandez. The 25 was running very conservative through the corners and allowed the 13 to close in even on the high side, but Stevens ends up winning the race here at Rockingham. Great race, great finish. Let's go check the finishing results. Here are the finish results from the Oreo 250 at Rockingham. No caution flags, and 5 drivers traded the lead for 8 laps. 5 drivers traded the lead 8 times during this race. 2 drivers tied for the most laps led. Keith Stevens and Cole Luigi both led 11 laps. Stevens ends up winning the race. He started 33rd here tonight. Just shows how you could come from the back to the front easily. Anthony Hernandez started just in front of him, but on the outside 32nd, he ends up 2nd. So it didn't matter if you started outside or inside. You still got up to the front. Blake Petrus from 29th to 3rd. Then Cole Luigi, it doesn't matter if you start back or front. Luigi started 5th. He ends up 4th. And Jonathan Buford started 2nd. He ends up 5th. Then Steven Taylor led 5 laps. He fell back to 6th at the end. Derek Bouchard, Troy Rainey Francis, Dustin, Matt Hamill round out the top 10. There's your top 20. It just shows how crazy this race is and how it's so unpredictable. You know, you can start at the back of the pack and finish up front. You can start at the front of the pack and finish up front. I mean, it doesn't really matter where you start here, but it's not like the cycle racing we see at some tracks like Vegas or Atlanta. You can come to the front if you do it right. Keyshawn Richardson was one that did not do it right. Started on the pole and falls to 35th, didn't even lead a lap, so struggle all night long in race term for that 21 team. And how about the front two in points? Riley to 29th, Danny Bright 28th. They are no longer first and second in points. We'll now go look at the points and see who's on top. 4 races in the books. Here are the point standings, and it's very close among the front few. Derek Bouchard takes over the points lead once again. Another consistent finish for that team. Moves into the points lead. 3 points only though by Riley Spirotube. Spirotube is second, so still in contention. Cole Luigi is only 10 points back in the points lead in third. Ricky Miller only 16 back in fourth, and Anthony Hernandez only 19 back in fifth. Max Rossi is 6th, only 22 back. Danny Bright then falls to 7th. He's 21 back of Max Rossi, but only 43 back in the lead. Danny Lloyd is only 45 back in 8th. Jonathan Beeford only 49 back in 9th. And Jake Galloway 50 points back inside the top 10. There's your top 20. 17 drivers within 100 points of the points lead, and your top 10 within 50 points of each other. So it's a crazy, crazy points battle right now, as it's just shaping up here in the Pennzoil Truck Series. You see 2 of our winners here inside the top 20 points. The other 2 are below. Ray Sir is down to 24th. Keith Stevens with that win up to 28th. Those 2, to use them, their wins as a wild card. Once again, they have to be top 20 in points to use them as a wild card. So 30 and 25. It's going to be telling how these next few races go, if they can stay, or if they can get to the top 20 points or not. So that wild Rockingham race going to be followed up with another wild race. Chicagoland, always wild, the Verizon 200. I'll see you guys then.